Hello, 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 fight fans. Happy fight week. It is Alec Carr. Next to me is the great Dustin Hunt. Monique may be joining us a little bit later. She is handling some issues outside of her podcast life, so she might join us a little bit later. But for right now, you guys are stuck with me and Dustin. Um, I don't think we're going to yell at each other this week. Pretty easy week of headlines and fight review. But you never know with us. We might find something to yell at each other about. Real quick, guys, as always, I'll do a couple of our tags and where you can find us. You can find me at Alec TD Carr, my personal account. I'm sure there will be some things on there that trigger you guys. I kind of do it on purpose because, as Dustin knows, I love to argue about sports. It's a passion of mine. It's why I'm here. Please also follow Fights Unwrapped. If you're not following Fights Unwrapped, my biased, unbiased opinion, you are not getting the best fight content out there. We bring you weekly headlines. We break down fights. We do it all here. So please, please, please follow us at Fights Unwrapped. Also, you can follow us at the Unwrapped Sports Network. It's the most incredible network out there. We got people from all over the country, podcast articles, posting just headlines and just crazy, crazy shit from all over the country. And it's super awesome. Great network of guys. So please, please, please follow Fights Unwrapped Sports Network. Dustin, go ahead and give your plug real quick.
All right, what's up, guys? As you know, my name is Dustin Hunt on the screen and how it said it. At No Central Sports. Like I said, go follow on Rat Man. We have a lot of fun. A lot of fun. I have a lot of fun arguing with Alec. Sometimes when I'm bored, he fills up my day. So it's all good. All right, let's get to it.
All right, so real quick, we got to pay the bills, as many of our fellow Unwrapped people like to say. We first and foremost, we are part of the RXM family, just like Carlos Condit, who unfortunately retired, even though it was about time. But we miss you, Carlos. Hopefully, we'll see you on ESPN. Hopefully, you'll take Stephen A. Smith's role with UFC. Please do. We're all hoping you do because you're a legit fight guy and you break down fights with the best of them. But getting back to rxhemp.com, who Carlos Condit is sponsored by, who we are sponsored by. If you got aches and pains, if you're working out and you're getting a little bit older and it doesn't feel the same way, please use rxhemp.com. Put in rxhemp.usn to get 10% off your entire order. Guys, this stuff is amazing. Please check them out. And then also visit mybookie.ag. There's a card this weekend. Granted, it's not a big card, but there are some great bets to be thrown down on this card, as always. So please visit mybookie.ag today. Use promo code USN100. Get a 100% sign up bonus. That's right, 100% sign up bonus. You can't find that in a lot of places. If you're betting on football this weekend, you're betting on the fights, you're betting on anything, mybookie.ag is the place to be. All right, so we're going to get right into it. We're going to talk about a kind of sad subject first, kind of get it out of the way. Justin Thornton of BFK, Bare Knuckle Fighting, or BKF, whatever it is, Bare Knuckle Fighting, suffered. Yeah, the theory is it's not 100% proven, but it's like 99% proven. Theory is he suffered massive brain injuries during the fight, and unfortunately passed away afterwards. We don't shy away from this stuff. We love a very violent sport. I just want to give my thoughts and prayers out to his family. It's very, very sad. I mean, Dana White came out and said he's sad too. He knew Justin Thornton. Thornton had messed around with the UFC, I believe, years and years and years ago. But he also stated something. It was a little too soon to state it, but he's not wrong. Are you guys surprised? You know, it was only a matter of time until something happened like this in a professional bare knuckle fighting club. Dustin, what are your thoughts real quick on this sad subject, and then we can move on to kind of some more fun stuff.
Again, before I get into my opinion on what Dana says or what a lot of people say medically, again, just hats off, not hats off, but definitely condolences to his family. These guys step in the ring and they want to earn a living, just like me and you go to work in the morning. You know, whatever we get, whatever we do, it's just their job. They don't ever picture dying. You know what I'm saying? They don't. That's never really a thought, and it shouldn't be. No fighter should ever die in there. You know, hopefully they're protected, but it does happen in combat sports, and it's a very sad reality. And I wish his family the best. To move forward with people talking about the injury itself because of bare knuckle fighting, I'm gonna be real. Boxing probably has the most deaths, and boxing has gloves on. I'm just gonna put it that way. MMA has deaths in the professional ring. It's happened. Conor McGregor's close training partner actually got killed in a promotion I run. So the kind of the fact that they're going after the BKFC's name like that, I don't think that's fair. It's not like they did something. They wanted that to happen. I mean, obviously they don't. It hurts everybody. It's not a good look for anybody, any fight business. So therefore, no. But I know the commissions were very, very upset about it, and but they should be. They should be. You know, a life got taken. So
yeah, and again, can't say how sad it is, how horrible it is that happened. The commissions are upset with it, but they just came out 2 days ago. It looks like, and said that they're going to proceed with caution with bare knuckle fighting. So nothing really. They didn't really do anything. I don't know how I really feel about it. It's too soon. It's too shocking to really have my thoughts wrapped around. I don't think anything should happen to bare knuckle fighting either. It's a promotion. It's a off the wall promotion. Not a lot of people do it. I thought it was ridiculous. I've watched a couple of their fights, and I mean, you're talking about low quality promotion, low quality fighters.
I watched plenty. I watched plenty of those fights actually.
But it is very entertaining. I know there's a guy that's from right down the street for me who's actually been very successful in bare knuckle fighting, but it's a gimmick. It's that they don't even think they're going to last that long. So I think that's why the commission really isn't going to do anything. We'll see what happens. Again, thoughts and prayers out to Justin Thornton's family. It's incredibly sad. Thoughts and prayers out to Dylan Klecker, who is the guy who fought him. I can only imagine what he's going through right now. You got to be questioning your entire life after something like this happens. Again, we wanted to bring it up because it is something that happened. It's a very real part of the sport. Like Dustin said, it's happened in almost every single promotion. The UFC, I don't think has any yet, but they have been very damn close. Davison Figueiredo almost, I mean, there was parts of him that he had no business being in that octagon after his weight cut in the first Moreno fight. He almost died the night before that. So
I actually believe Ronda Rousey, when she got knocked out by Holly Holm.
Yep.
The hospital.
She got rushed to the hospital.
The hospital literally said she was in very bad shape.
Forrest Griffin, after the Anderson Silva fight, even though he got up and ran, actually got almost from reports almost got tackled after he got back into the back room, and they brought him to the hospital because he had severe brain swelling. It is a very serious part of the sport. It is why these guys are just made out of different stuff. It's why we respect them. It's why we love the sport, because you're putting your life on the line every time you get in the octagon, every time you get in the ring. Again, I want to move on. Super sad topic, but thought we had to bring it up because it is a fact. It is something that happened in the sports that we love. Again, thoughts and prayers out to his family. Thoughts and prayers out to Dylan Kleckler, and his family, who are dealing with the trauma of this too. Because again, he's the guy that was fighting him. So let's move on.
That's actually a really good point. Before we move on, Condolences to him too. I mean, he's got to live with that the rest of his life. So, I
Yeah,
mean, I feel that too.
I might never fight again if that happened to me. I mean, it's
Yeah,
no fault of his own. He went out there and he fought. It's no fault. Like, he didn't do anything wrong. He didn't cheat. He didn't, like, I want to make that clear. This is a guy that is very down to earth, very honest, very cool dude. If you ever get a chance, look him up. He didn't do anything wrong. He didn't cheat. Wasn't super aggressive. He didn't keep going after the fight ended. It just happened. It just happened. It's not his fault. What's cool is that social media isn't blaming him or anything like that. It's been a very good reaction of support amongst the whole thing. But yeah, we got to move on because we don't want to bring the whole podcast down and the whole stream down. I mean, so that's why I wanted to get it out of the way, because it's something that we had to talk about. We're going to move on to the fights that happened this weekend. By the way, what a great Vegas card. Absolutely incredible. I was shocked. I wasn't that excited going into the Johnny Walker, Thiago Santos fight night card. But, I mean, we had Alexander Hernandez get a quick knockout. We had Joko put on a show. We had Nico Price put on an absolute destroyed Cowboy Oliveira. And then we got to talk about the co-main and the main event, because some weird things happened. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about Kevin Hollis versus Kyle Daukaus. For those who don't know, the fight was ended early. It was ruled a no contest, then ruled a draw. It was first actually ruled a win for Kyle Daukaus, then ruled a no contest, then ruled a draw. What happened was Kevin's total accidental headbutt by Daukaus. Totally accidental headbutt by Daukaus. I'm not just saying that because he's a Philly guy. I'm saying it because I've watched it a million times. It was not on purpose. No way you could see that as on purpose. They just banged heads. It was really bad. Kevin Holland went down. He was definitely out. Definitely knocked out. Not like Aljamain Sterling pretended to be. Kevin Holland was out. And he got up and kept trying to fight and then got choked out by Daukaus. First thing I want to mention, the ref did a horrible job in this fight. I forget who it was. Horrible, horrible, horrible job. Should have been stopped immediately when Kevin Holland went down. He had the perfect view of it. He saw him go down and let the fight keep going. Daukaus, they hit him a couple more times and then put him in a chokehold and then won the fight. Then it was reviewed and it was ruled a no contest. Then later reviewed, ruled a draw. That was a lot to digest. I want to get your thoughts on what happened, and then I'll kind of tell you my thoughts. I honestly think the whole thing's a bit ridiculous and blown out of proportion. But what do you think? More importantly, what do you think about the reffing of it? What do you think about it not being stopped right away? And how the ref kind of just let him wake back up.
He should lose his job. He shouldn't be reffing anymore. Take license. Again, guys, the ref's number one job is to protect the fighters. I know everybody thinks that their number one job is to take points and, just ref and breakups and all that stuff. No, their number one job in that octagon or ring or whatever you're in is to protect the two guys in competition. So if you watch a guy go unconscious, right, number one should be stopped right there. Probably should have been no contest right there. That would have been a no contest to me. But when he let him get up, again, we're going to talk about another thing. We're lucky he just got kind of choked out. What if he got knocked out, got back again, and then he laid it on him? That's a dangerous situation. Very, very dangerous. That's a lot of head trauma right there. So therefore, the fact that he even let him get up is surprising. And I definitely think this should be a win for Daukaus because it's not his fault. I mean, he won the fight. It is what it is. I mean, it was the ref's job to stop this. He didn't, and Daukaus won the fight. So I don't think there should be any no contest or draw because that's the ref's job, and he didn't do it. So Daukaus won the fight. I think he'd won the fight probably anyway, in my opinion, to a point. But it's just the fact of I think he deserved the win. The ref didn't do his job, and if anybody should be getting punished for this, or getting a win taken away, or getting anything taken away, it should be the ref. So that's just my opinion.
Yeah, before I get into mine, because I am going to disagree. I'm torn on the whole thing, but I just want to give a shout out to Perry. He said, "Let's go, boys." Perry Aston, of course, one of the founders of Unwrapped Sports. We wouldn't be here without you, Perry. We love you. He does sometimes join us on the fights stream. Thanks, Perry. I agree with you and I disagree with you because I am torn on this. I hate this happens all the time when the commission steps in or somebody steps in and deems the fight something else than what it was. It is absolutely the ref's job to stop the fight, and he didn't, and that's why it was ruled a win at first. I am torn because the headbutt was so bad that he was so clearly knocked out and the ref totally missed it, was not paying attention, or worse, didn't care. Because like you said, it is absolutely, and everybody who knows UFC, anyone who knows any refs of MMA or judges or umps or anything like that, whatever they're called in the different promotions, their first priority, the first thing they are taught is to keep the fighters safe. The wrestlers, the fighters, the MMA, the jiu-jitsu, whatever they're doing, that is their first priority, is to keep everybody safe. Then it's to make judgments and rules. So the ref didn't stop the fight. The knockout was bad. It was clear. It was his eyes rolled behind his head. They slowed it down. I've seen it from a million different angles. He was out cold. But the ref didn't catch it. So it was therefore ruled a win. Part of me wants to side with you, and I don't know if it's my Philly guy voice coming in because Kyle Daukaus is a Philly guy, and I want him to get as many wins as possible. And the guy's an absolute stud. He's a future contender in the UFC. I thoroughly believe that. The guy's striking is good, and his wrestling is great, and his Brazilian jiu-jitsu is really, really underrated as well. The guy's just an all-around fighter. I can't wait to watch him grow in that division. And I absolutely agree with you. He was winning that fight, even though it got stopped early. Daukaus was already winning that fight, and he was gonna win. He was doing whatever he wanted with Kevin Holland. That being said, because of the way the knockout happened, because of how blatant of a headbutt it was, part of me thinks it shouldn't have been a draw. It shouldn't be a draw. I don't know why the hell it's a draw. That makes no sense whatsoever. It should either have been a win for Daukaus or no contest, and then rematch the fight. A draw is stupid. Now they're got a 1 at the end of their freaking record for no reason. Nobody likes ties. It's bullshit. It should not be a draw. I would have been okay if it's a no contest. I'm starting to talk myself into a win for Kyle Daukaus because the ref makes the ruling and the ref didn't make the ruling. Now they do have review for this, so that's why it got ruled a no contest, because they did review it. That's why the review has been instituted. That's why the review is there, is for situations like this. So I think, I honestly, all right, I'm making my decision. I think it should have been a no contest. Rematch as soon as possible.
That's respectable.
A draw is just stupid, though, right? Like, why a draw?
That's not
doesn't make any sense. A draw means it was an even fight. A draw means that there was no way to pick a winner. A draw means that they were both so damn good or so damn bad in the fight that the judges couldn't pick a winner at the end. That's not what happened here. Somebody got knocked out cold by a legal blow, even if it was accidental. That's a no contest to me. That's the definition of a no contest. I'm disappointed for Dana White for not stepping in and doing something. And you're right, the refs should be fired. I am so tired of these refs getting away with this nonsense. I really, really am. It's absolutely disgusting. It's hurting fighters. And you're right. What if Kevin Holland stood back up and Daukaus stood back up and started trading again? This is head trauma. This is the guy's livelihood. Kevin Holland has his flaws in the octagon, but he is still a very young, a young guy with a bright future in the UFC. And he could have had his entire career ruined. And that's scary.
His life, not just career.
Yeah, we just talked about Justin Thornton. We could have watched that happen. This is very real. It's very serious, and the refs need to start getting punished. I'm done with this. They get away with whatever they want. I'm tired of watching. I love Herb Dean just because he's so soft spoken, but he's one of the worst offenders in it. He lets things go. You got what's his name? I can't even think right now.
Mazzagatti is horrible.
Mazzagatti. Everybody knows Mazzagatti's horrible. He's the worst.
Remember when Frank Mir had Lesnar in that ankle lock, and he was trying to tap, and he just let him keep cranking? I was like, dude. But I'll say something about Herb Dean. The reason I'll say something about him because he really not judges, but he refs high-profile fights most of the time, like championship bouts.
Yes, he does.
So the burden that I think he has as a top referee is to not end a fight too early. He gives the champion especially a chance. He gives you a shot. I will tell you that. But
yeah,
it's I think he should do that. But at the same time, I do agree with you that I think he should kind of stop stuff a little bit earlier. But I will give him a credit a little bit because he's a championship referee. He mostly does these really high-profile bouts. So I will say that I think that he's just trying to make this fight as fair and as, kind of comebackable as possible. So he's trying to give the champ some credit. So I'll give him that.
I totally understand too. I'm not here to hate on Herb Dean. He's one of the guys that's been around for forever. He's one of the most loved referees out there. I mean, he is in the old UFC games. He was the ref. There was no other ref. It was Herb Dean. And he would come. He would come out and be like, "Y'all ready to fight? Y'all ready to fight?" In his very high pitched voice. It's hilarious. But all right, let's move on. Anyway, to sum it up, this fight was absolutely ridiculous. The judging, the afterwards, the post-judging of the judging was stupid. It was insane. It didn't make any sense. I feel bad for both of the fighters as I do really like them both. I enjoy watching both guys. Hopefully they get a rematch because I do want to see this fight. It is a good fight. It's Kevin Holland's pure power and striking against Daukaus's, wrestling and grappling. So I would like to see this fight again. Hopefully, Dana hasn't really said anything about a reschedule, but I think it will happen again because this is a great fight for Daukaus. Kevin Holland is still ranked 14th. It gives Daukaus a ranked opponent and allows him to prove himself. All right, we're moving on. We're moving on to Johnny Walker. Johnny Walker, the guy who was supposed to be next in line, the great hype, the guy that we were told is the youngest up and comer, the guy that will be the next Conor McGregor for the UFC, the guy that's gonna blow up the light heavyweight division, lost in a pretty embarrassing fashion to Thiago Santos on Saturday, and it was not a good outing for him. He looked really bad. Santos didn't even look good in the fight, and he absolutely annihilated Johnny Walker. I want to get your thoughts on this first, because I've never been a huge Johnny Walker believer. I've never been a huge Johnny Walker fan, and I'll get into why. It has a lot to do with his lack of technique. But I don't know what's next for him. I don't know what we do with Johnny Walker. I don't know if he's destined to be in the UFC or we see him go to Bellator or PFL or something like that. What do you think about Johnny? What do you think what's next for him?
Think about Johnny with the young and up-and-comers, right? So the UFC does this thing with young guys. They put them against veterans or people that are very capable inside of the octagon. They do it all the time, and they're basically telling you if you can't beat this dude, you really have no shot against those killers that are in the top five. Put it that way. These guys have already proved it. Um, it's kind of weird for Johnny Walker. You can be two guys in the UFC, and I firmly believe this. You can either be a high-level fighter that's going to get a contract no matter what, or you can be a mid-level, let's just say top 15, top 10, go 2 for 2 out of 4 fights in the UFC contract, and just float around. I mean, that's what Johnny Walker can really do. I mean, he doesn't have to move promotions. He doesn't have to do that. Now, just depending on, what type of money he wants, I mean, we never know. But the UFC is not going to give it to you if you're 2-2 and you're not making it. So, but you can float around the UFC for a long time. Johnny Walker could if he wants to. That's his choice. The UFC will probably keep giving him a contract as long as he's formidable. Like, he's not like crazy bad. But again, dude, I mean, it's back to the drawing board for Johnny Walker. It is what it is. Sometimes you just take bad losses. You get your ass whooped sometimes, and it happens. Especially in this light heavyweight division, I think it's one of the most open divisions. So it's really bad that he couldn't get there, but it is what it is, man. I mean, he's got a lot of time. He's got time to come back. We saw old Robbie Lawler come back and take over 170. I mean, dude, it happens. Believe me, it happens. So therefore, we'll see, man. But I don't think he has to move promotions or anything like that. He'll probably float around the UFC if he doesn't, crack that upper echelon. So, I mean, we'll see.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't think he moves. I think he gives it a shot. Let's just for an idea, Johnny Walker's just turned 29 in March. I've been on the show. Well, how long we've been doing this show now? Has it been a full year? I think it's been a full year.
It's been a year.
Anytime we bring up Johnny Walker, I get a bad taste in my mouth. I've never really liked the guy. He is an athletic freak of nature. There's no doubt about that. As far as explosiveness, as far as athletic ability, he is top tier in the UFC. This guy is a freak of nature athlete. Honestly, he could jump across the octagon and do a flying knee. I have full faith in that. The guy's 6'6". He's an absolute monster. There are rumors, and he has talked about in the past about maybe stepping up to heavyweight. He is 6'6" monster, like I said. I'd be interested to see how he does in heavyweight. I don't think the heavyweight division is one of the strongest divisions in the entire UFC right now, though. So, I don't like his odds there, and I'll tell you why. I don't like his odds because he's not that good. He's just not that good. Athletic freak of nature. There are guys in sports across the world, across all levels, across entire sports. I'm talking NFL, NBA, MLB, Premier League football, any sport you can think of. There are guys like Johnny Walker out there who stick around for a while because they are so athletic that they get as many chances as possible. Because there's that tiny little chance that he actually develops a fight game, and then he will be the scariest dude in the UFC because of his pure athletic ability. That being said, Johnny Walker had every opportunity to win this fight. He was walking down Santos over and over and over again, but he does not know how, and he has never known how to cut fighters off. He is 6'6". He is a 6'6" waste of space, Dustin. This is a guy that literally does not know how to use his height. He gets on the inside for no reason. He rushes opponents. He does not know how to use that back foot to sidestep, to not let his opponent get away from him. When I say he walked down Santos, I don't know if you even noticed this, Dustin. When he walked down Santos, he was in control of that fight for the majority of it, but he couldn't throw because every time he threw, Santos got away because he was constantly in the wrong place. So I don't know. I think Johnny Walker, like you said, will stay in the UFC. I think he'll be there for a long time because of his pure athletic ability. That being said, I don't think he's ever going to win against a top flight opponent. I don't think he has the skill, the talent, or I would even go as far as saying I don't think he wants this enough. I think he just wants to be the crazy athletic freak of nature and the social media star. I don't think he cares about learning how to fight. Because if he did, or maybe he's just not smart enough. I don't know. I don't like saying that about people because I don't know him personally, so I can't personally make that opinion. But something's wrong where he just won't learn how to fight because it's the little things that if he learned how to cut people off, he doesn't need to learn wrestling. He really doesn't. If he at 6'6" in the light heavyweight division with the reach that he has, if he learned actual boxing and kickboxing techniques, he would dominate. He would absolutely dominate because of his pure athletic ability. So I guess that's my rant of the week. I don't believe in Johnny Walker. Never believed in Johnny Walker. Never will believe in Johnny Walker. I was excited because of the Ryan Spann win. Ryan Spann's no joke. That is an impressive victory, no matter how you look at it. But I just don't. I know I will never get excited to watch another one of his fights ever again. You think that's fair to say?
Well, I mean, after disappointments, I mean, I'm not gonna say I'm not excited to see him. I mean, he's not bad, but I mean, we'll see in the light heavyweight division if he stays there. Like you said, I mean, these long guys, some of them are kind of. You're right, man. They don't know how to use that length. And it's weird because it's easy to use it. I mean, really, all you gotta do is really just reach across. I mean, it is what it is. If they can't get in, they can't get in. And when you let the smaller guys get away, I do agree with you because when they get away and out angle you, they're going to come inside. That's exactly what's going to happen. As soon as they get if they get outside of your lead foot, they're coming in. So therefore, if he just learned how to use the reach and keep him at bay, I mean, he'd probably do a lot better. That's what I'm saying, though. I think he's a guy that'll float around the UFC. I think he's good enough to beat guys that aren't good enough. And then he's kind of just going to float around. Maybe he talks his trash and makes his money. But when people talk about him being the future Conor McGregor, I mean, I'm sorry. Conor McGregor is not really my fandom for him is getting lower because the way he's turning into. But to say someone's going to be Conor McGregor is just unfair.
Stupid. It's stupid. It doesn't make any sense. The guy's one of a kind. And not even just talent-wise. I'm not talking about talent-wise. The guy's one of a kind. He's on. Me and you, one of the few things we agree on, Dustin, is that, one, fighters don't get paid enough, and two, that Conor McGregor is on the Mount Rushmore of MMA, not UFC, MMA, because he brought it into the popularity. It is because of him we are here. We wouldn't have a show. There would be no reason to have a fight show if it weren't for Conor McGregor because the UFC would still just be dwindling around as an almost big fight promotion.
What's funny is when I tell people about these guys that are ultra promoters is that, you know what, dude, they don't even have to be the best. They don't. They just bring so much attention that people watch the UFC now because of it.
They're look at the Diaz brothers.
Diaz brothers, the same thing. They don't win. Nick Diaz don't win. Nate Diaz don't win. But these guys are both millions, man. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah.
There's two ways you can survive in the UFC. Two. It's either the baddest motherfucker and you win belts, or you're one of the toughest dudes and you're just so good at talking that you can make people watch. There's two ways. Jorge Masvidal, I think his title run is done. But his mouth is going to open up opportunities for him. Just like Conor McGregor.
Never gone.
Conor McGregor has lost like 3 times in a row. I guarantee you, the next time he headlines an event, 1 million PPVs. How much you want to bet?
He got 1.5 in the last Poirier fight. 1.5 million for a trilogy fight that no one cared about.
Literally, dude. There's fucking Dustin Poirier, dog.
Yeah, Johnny Walker would never never. I don't care how good he is at shit talking, never get to that level. Anyway, it's just crazy. We're moving on. We got one more headline to talk about, then we'll get into the fight preview. A quick fight preview. We got. Oh, where is it? We got the announcement of Ngannou versus Gane or Gane. I still don't know what to call him because Joe Rogan calls him something, DC calls him something else, Felder calls him something else. I'm going to go with Gane because that's what he seems to respond to, even though I thought it was Gane. Whatever. We got Cyril Gane versus Francis Ngannou to unify the belt. I am so excited for this. I didn't personally think, we've talked about it, I personally didn't think this fight was going to happen. I know you were kind of on the fence about it just because of the contract negotiations. I didn't think it would happen. I didn't know if we would ever see Francis Ngannou again in the octagon just because of those contracts.
I know why he was going to fight him. Dana was smart. Dana made him an interim champion. So basically what's going to happen as soon as you have an interim champion that splits the belt, what's going to happen?
Right.
Gonna fight. Dana put him in a position that, hey, dude, you're gonna fight my young star and like it or not. He was like, he's made you the non-undisputed champion, and you are going to fight him. But there is you make someone an interim champion in the UFC. I'm telling you, Dana's not stupid. When he makes a popular guy an interim champion, he does that to force contracts. He does it to force fight.
Absolutely. Now they'll get paid out hundreds of thousands of dollars where they deserve millions of dollars for this fight. But it's I don't know, man. The pay is one thing. Neither of these guys are going to get paid enough for this fight. It's pretty clear that that's going to happen. But that in itself is that. The fight is UFC 270. It is January 22nd. I think it's the second pay-per-view of the 2022. It's probably the card's probably going to be absolutely nuts. There's slight rumors that the Henry Cejudo return might be on that card. It could just be absolutely insane.
Did you see that? Did you see the article about Dana responding to Cejudo? About him trying to fight Volk?
I did, but I forget what Dana said.
Dana literally was like, dude, I mean, you've been off for a year, almost 2 years. He was like, so you expect me to give you a title shot before Max Holloway, before all these guys that have been fighting for all long? He was like, dude, you're not going to just come back and get this. He's like, I'll listen to you. He's like, I'll listen to whatever you got to say. But he was like, putting you in front of these guys he was like, I don't know if I can do it. He didn't do it for TJ. I mean, he didn't do it for nobody.
I agree with it. It's just the Triple C gets what the Triple C wants. I know I would buy that fight. I would be super excited for it. I'd be disappointed if he leapfrogged Holloway. I don't think that Volk wants to fight Holloway, to be honest with you. After the fight, he immediately talked about jumping up in weight class because he knows what's coming. Anyway, that's a different topic for a different day. We don't need to get into that
Actually, that's one thing I think we should add it. I think we should talk, to be honest.
We got a fight card to talk about, Dustin. The fight card isn't that great. Anyway, maybe we talk about it after this. I want to get back to Gane versus Francis Ngannou. This is super exciting. The heavyweight division, like I said earlier, is one of the best. It's the best, my opinion, Dustin. The heavyweight division is the best it's ever been. Whether you include Stipe or not in that division, because he's undecided about what he's really going to do, it is the heavyweight division is absolutely insane right now. You got Gane, you got Ngannou, you got Volkov, you got Rosenstrike, you got Curtis Blades, you got John Jones if he doesn't get arrested, maybe, and then you throw in Stipe, you throw in guys like Derek Lewis, like this division is just nuts. You got Kyle Dawkins' brother, and I can't remember his first name right now for some reason, who's just on an absolute tear right now, beating anybody they put in front of him. Like, this division is nuts. It's only getting better. And this is Gane, who is a monster, who has proved me. I have been a big fan of him since day one. Dustin can atone for that. After I watched his first fight, I was like, oh, fuck, this guy's good. This guy knows how to fight. Like, just naturally knows how to fight. Like, just, it's in his blood. And he pulls Francis Ngannou. I'm excited because you got two guys who are precision strikers, two guys with power. Gane's got definitely better wrestling and better grappling. They're about the same size too, which is just two freak of natures who are naturally gifted fighters who are just absolute beasts. Gane is probably the better precision striker than Ngannou, but not by too much. This fight, the first round is going to be boring. The first round is going to be boring because they're going to size each other up. They're not going to go out there. They're both incredibly smart fighters. They're not going to go out there and start throwing. It's just not going to happen.
I kind of disagree that Ngannou's a accurate striker.
Let me rephrase that. He's gotten much more accurate as he's gotten older. He used to be throw from the hip. Now you see him throwing jabs. You see him throwing stiff crosses, and he's clearly worked on his boxing. Gane is the definite more precision striker.
I don't know. I don't know if you'll agree or the viewers agree or anybody just watching. Ngannou is like the Deontay Wilder of the UFC. I mean, he has a touch of death. Like, dude, if he lands a clean shot from the legs, if he dips down and sets in a punch and you let him land that punch,
good night.
You're going to see the sky. Like, you're looking through the roof. There's no roof anymore. You're going to be looking straight through it. Like, it's just a epiphany. That dude is ridiculous. Yeah. And the only guy I think that can beat a guy like him probably would be Gane, because it's almost like Tyson Fury. I'm a boxing fan. Tyson Fury against Wilder. Tyson Fury doesn't hit as hard, but you know what he does? He boxes better. He's a better
plays defense too.
And he's a very good moving around guy. He's very experienced. And the fact that Deontay Wilder is a big threat, he knows that. But all he has to do is avoid one hand. I mean, it's really that simple for him. And it's just like Gane versus Ngannou. I think Gane is Tyson Fury. But if Ngannou lands that punch, I'm telling you right now, I don't care how experienced Gane is, if that monster lands that hand, it's going to be a bad night. That's basically what it's going to be a bad.
I agree. But I do think Ngannou's his fight IQ gets taken away from him. A lot of people just see him as this power fighter, which he is. He's a power striker. That's what he is. But he knows.
Yeah.
But he knows how and when to use it, and that's why he's the champ. That's literally why he's the champ. He learned how and when to use it. He went to the fight lab and he got smarter about fighting. And that's clear in his last couple of fights. It's crystal clear that the guy is smarter. I mean, look at the two Stipe fights comparatively next to each other. One, he's thrown from the hip, trying to put Stipe to sleep. And Stipe sitting there saying, I can take your shots because you're not landing clean. And in the second fight, he was much more patient, much more calm. Didn't rush in.
You know who he's starting to remind me of? The bigger version of Usman.
Yeah.
The bigger version of Usman. I'm gonna be honest.
I mean,
he strikes and the way he throws that hand, it looks like Usman. Usman doesn't. It's not flashy, dude. He just throws that straight right, and it's just
Usman minus the incredible wrestling.
You obviously know I'm not accusing him of being a good guy.
I know. I wasn't saying it for you. I was saying it for our audience. We would never say Francis Ngannou is as good as a wrestler as Usman. It's just not something Dustin or I or Monique would ever say.
He's starting to strike like Usman. He's starting to strike like him. Very calculated, jab heavy, staying in the circle, it's like staying in the square. And when he throws a straight punch, it's not just a straight right, dude. It's a devastating straight right. If that thing lands, it's going to look like Jorge Masvidal. I'll put it to you that way. If that thing lands, it's going to be bad. And it's not flashy about it. It's not flashy. It's not a hook. It's not a stupid punch. He just throws it. It's a bomb, dude. It's a bomb.
His straight is like that, but his uppercut comes from the depths of hell. When he throws that uppercut and it lands, it is the scariest strike in the entire UFC. Probably in the entire UFC history. Go back, if you want to know what I'm talking about, people, go back and watch the Al-Sattar over Raheem fight when Francis Ngannou launched him into space with an uppercut.
You know who people forget about, too, when it comes to those uppercuts and sitting down on punches is Rampage Jackson in his prime.
Yes.
When that dude will hit you with an uppercut or hit you with a very short shot.
Ngannou is a lot like Prime Rampage. He really, really is. That's actually a really good comparison. Ngannou is very similar to a Prime Rampage. And he draws a guy, Ngannou. I have no idea who to pick for this fight because Ngannou is just Ngannou is just such a tactician. The guy is probably the smartest in the entire heavyweight division. He knows how to dip. He knows how to duck. He knows how to move. He's quick on his feet. His cardio is probably the best in the heavyweight division. I mean, he's been in the 5th round and on his toes still. Like, that's insane for a heavyweight. That doesn't happen.
Here's the problem with the division, like the heavyweight division. So they're very talented, right? I'm going to tell you what I need. Some of this. I need some of this.
I know. There's no talking. That's why it needs – John Jones, you're a horrible person. You never beat your wife. It doesn't matter what you're going through, what alcohol. You don't lay your hands on another person. But they need a guy like Jones, a guy like I'm not going to say Conor McGregor because those don't come around. A guy like Jones, a guy like Diaz, a guy like Masvidal to come in and just start running his mouth.
You know what people forget about? Michael Bisping. Michael Bisping was one.
Yeah.
Bisping was one.
Right.
He can still run his mouth. He runs his mouth with Conor McGregor, for God's sake. I mean, come on. What fighters are understanding, Ngannou wants money, right? He wants money. What you need to start doing is marketing yourself. Dana can't sell pay-per-views for you. It's not like Dana's out here telling you can't make more money. You're going to get – I will give him this. This is the only thing I'll give Dana when it comes to fighter pay. Conor got his money because he had a big mouth and he's entertaining. If you are a good fighter and you're quiet, you're hurting yourself. You're hurting yourself.
Right.
You're hurting your bank account. Dude, start talking a little bit. You train hard, dude. You train hard. You work your ass off. Dude, you're confident. Be confident and make it known. Call your shot.
Exactly. I agree.
You got to market yourself. If you want a bigger contract, you want a bigger share of pay-per-views, you want this, you have to market. If you don't market, you're going to be another guy who can fight. Like GSP, if GSP had a big mouth, he'd be a rich man. I'm going to say that right now. If GSP had a bigger mouth, he'd be more rich than he already is. And he made a lot of money in UFC. But if he was a mouthy guy, oh my God, the amount of money he would have got. If Anderson Silva was a little bit more mouthy, he would have got a lot more money. You got to market, man. You got to.
Yeah. All right, with that, because we're wrapping up our show and we haven't even talked about the card, so we're gonna run through it real quick, guys. Sorry, we'll talk about Volkanovski, we'll talk about Henry Cejudo, we'll talk about Dana White's situation next week. I promise we will. Next week's card is kind of boring too, so we can we can bring that into next week. I promise you, you will get our takes on that because that will be entertaining. Because I promise you, Dustin and I will probably yell at each other on that one. Because we have very different opinions about Henry Cejudo. Anyway, moving on. We do have a fight card, like I said, UFC Vegas 39. It is not the greatest card. There are some really exciting fights on it. And it starts with Phil Hawes. Phil Hawes against Darren Wynn. Phil Hawes returns, coming off of a win in August off of Kyle Daukaus, who we said is an absolute monster. Daukaus has gotten, even though it's been just since August, Daukaus has gotten way, way better since then. But Hawes is on an absolute tear. He has not lost since 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 fights. Not on the UFC, granted, but he is 7-0 in his last 7. The guy has power for days, and he's drawing Darren Wynn, who is a little bit of a lesser known fighter, but an absolute wrestler. So this fight looks to be a little boring. Actually, I'm going to be honest. I think Phil Hawes. I think this is one of those prop fights, Dustin. I think Dana set it up. Phil Hawes is to get that first round knockout to kind of start the card off with a bang. That's what Dana's hoping for. Darren Wynn is one of the best wrestlers in the world. He really, really is. But he has never, ever, 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 ever shown any ability to strike. This is a guy that has fought in the UFC before. He's not a new UFC comer, but this guy's wrestling is for real. That being said, he has won by some striking. It was a long time ago, but he's not a good striker. He's just not. I think Phil Hawes wins this in the first round. I think he wins it in a quick knockout. What do you think, Dustin?
Phil Hawes is a bad boy. Right now. Bad boy. Like, that's probably one of the guys I would not want to fight. I'm going to be honest. If I was in the UFC, I'd be like, hey, look, man, let me get another. He's probably one of the hardest guys to get through when it comes to just trying to climb rankings. Phil Hawes is bad. Oh, geez. I think Phil Hawes is going to knock this dude out. I completely agree. Phil Hawes,
yeah.
He's going to have a great career in the UFC. Right now, he's going to be there.
Yeah, I wish he was fighting a ranked opponent. I don't know why he's doing this. The guy's an absolute monster.
I almost feel like they're grooming him like Sugar Sean, to be honest. I think they're grooming.
He's 32, though.
That's true. 32 is not old. I think everybody needs to understand that, too.
No, 32 is not old in the fight game, but 32 is still like, he's got a couple more years of his prime left. Like this is he's got to fight a ranked opponent. Like, you got to give it to him soon. It's got to be his next fight.
Next 2 to 3 years, he needs to start fighting. And next year, after he finishes this dude, I think they need to pretty much put his development on speed mode.
I think if you see him win this fight, he might take Andre Muniz ranking as the 15th best middleweight fighter. I think you might see that. But that being said, he needs to fight a ranked opponent. I need to see him against the top talent, because this guy, like you said, is not just a scary dude to fight against. He's a scary looking dude. The guy's neck is bigger than my entire body. Anyway, we're moving on. I got Phil Hawes in the first round. You got Phil Hawes. We agree. We're moving on. We got Sabina Mazo versus Maria Agapova. I'm sorry. I'm butchering that name. These are two very young women fighters in the flyweight division. Women's UFC, women's MMA right now is just on a whole nother level. So I get excited against these young women fighters because they are elite, and people need to start watching them more because they're so good. Now, that being said, I don't know a lot about these fighters because they're both very young. I know both of them are pretty young, well-rounded. I wish Monique was here because she would be able to break down every single one of these guys' fighters, these women's fighters. I don't know who to pick. I know Maria Agapova has definitely got more wrestling than Sabina Mazo, but Sabina Mazo is not someone to fuck around with. She can hit you, and she can also grapple a little bit. So this is going to be an exciting fight. Two young fighters in the flyweight division, which is a very, very competitive women's division in the UFC. So I'm just pumped to watch a good fight. That's all. What do you think?
Like I said, I mean, I'm gonna be completely honest with the audience. I have no idea about this fight. It says honestly, the reason I hate UFC Vegas fights because there's some of them I just can't even. I can't even give a big opinion on. I know next to nothing, pretty much about.
All right, that's fine. I mean, it's two young fighters. They're both rather new to the UFC. They've both only done prelim fights. This is their first main card. We're not supposed to know who these people are yet, but we're about to find out, and that's exciting.
So we'll see. I mean, scrap it out and show me something. I'll know your name eventually. Put it that way.
Yeah, next in line, we got Tim Elliott on a main card for no fucking reason. This is I listen. I know he's on a 2-fight win against Ryan Benoit and Jordan Espinoza, which are 2 victories no one would brag about. But we got against a very young up and comer, Matheus Nicolau. Pereira from Brazil. The guy is shocked me because I love Manuel Cop from the guy's an absolute beast. He's a monster. He apparently lost this fight. I don't think he did. But that is Nicolau's last fight was against Cape, and he won in a split division. Cape is a beast of a fighter, so to even be that close with him is very impressive. I didn't think it was that close. That being said, I don't think Tim Elliott stands a chance in this fight. This is a guy that it's got some great Brazilian jiu-jitsu, can wrestle. It's a guy that's won by a Japanese necktie before. That's not a submission you see every single day. This guy is scary, and he proved in the fight that he can strike. I'm excited. This is the most excited fight. The most excited I am for the entire card because I want to see this guy's rise because he is rising and he's rising quick. I think he absolutely annihilates Tim Elliott in any way he wants to at any time. What do you think, Dustin?
Like I said, I try to be pretty 100. I mean, I try to keep it honest. If no one told me that Tim Elliott fought, I probably would have thought he was retired. I'm gonna just be honest. Like, I swear.
It's true.
I swear, Alex just gave me some news. I'm over here shocked. I was like, what? He fought? Tim Elliott was a kind of a used to be, man. Tim Elliott should have been something, and it just didn't work out. I'm gonna put it that way. Again, UFC just does this. Dana is not. He just always does this. It's not even a secret anymore. He's so fluorescent. Like, he always puts the young guys against these old dude. It happens. He's gonna do it. He's gonna keep doing it, and he's gonna get these old guys beat up.
For those who don't recognize the name Tim Elliott, he is the guy that's best known for losing against Demetrius Johnson in the Ultimate Fighter finale.
I thought he retired.
That's what he's known for. Anyway, we're moving on. We got another fight that I'm excited for. We got the Jamaican, the rude boy, Randy Brown, coming back. I've been excited about this guy. He beat in his last fight in April of 2021. He beat Alex Oliveira with a one-arm rear naked choke in the first round. That is incredibly hard to do against a guy like Cowboy Oliveira, who is one of the best. I know he's on a losing streak, but he's one of the best all-around fighters that I've ever seen. The guy's he's just good. He's a good fighter. He's never going to be the best, but he's just a really good fighter and has incredible defense. So in order to beat him with a one-arm rear naked choke is absolutely impressive. But we got Randy Brown against Jared Gooden, Jared the Night Train Gooden, who won against Nicolas Stossi in his last fight with a stiff right cross in the first round. Absolutely annihilated him. It was fun to watch because I've never been a Stoltzy fan or a believer. I don't think he's that good. I got to go with the rude boy, though, Randy Brown. This is a guy that's being propped up. This is a guy that the UFC, Dana White, and a lot of other fighters believe in as one of the next in line. He is a welterweight. He is well-rounded. I'm picking him. I think this fight probably goes to decision because Jared Gooden he's no joke. He's a good fighter. So I think this one does go the distance. I think it goes to the decision, but I think Randy Brown ends up winning in a pretty easy decision.
I'm going to be honest. The whole time you were explaining that one-arm rear naked choke, I'm actually envisioning what position he had it in, because a one-arm rear naked choke would almost have to be highly isolated. Like, I'm thinking about it, he had to have him pressed up, or he had to have something happen. Because I'm gonna be honest, one hand rear naked choke doesn't even make sense. You might as well just clap the other hand in. But the fact that he did it probably tells me he's a very strong guy.
He's very incredibly strong.
Very strong. I don't know much about it, but if you land a one-handed rear naked choke, that means you have the arm to grip strength of not even human. Like that. That's probably a very, very good
fucking
grip.
Silverback.
I mean, you've got to be weird to do that. Yeah. Again, I don't know too much about these guys, but I'm still envisioning how he got a one-handed rear naked choke. I might have to look that up.
Randy Brown, just so everybody knows, Randy Brown is 31 years old. He's unranked as of right now, but if he wins this fight, he'll probably take over somebody's ranking. The welterweight division is so competitive right now. But this is a guy who he wins this fight. We're looking at him fighting a guy like Jeff Neal next, Bilal Muhammad next, maybe Ponzinibbio or however you say his name next. This is a guy that's coming. He is coming. Again, no one can beat Usman, so it doesn't really matter. But he is coming for the crown. This is a guy that could fight for the title at some point. He is that good. All right, we're at the main event. We got Mackenzie Dern, the great hot, like she is on a hot streak. Mackenzie Dern, like maybe the hot, like. Just incredible. Like this winning streak she is on is probably the best in the UFC right now. She just can't lose. She beat Hannah Seifers, which is not a huge win. She beat Marcos so she beat Seifers in an E-bar. She beat Marcos in an armbar. She beat Jandiroba in a unanimous decision. She absolutely annihilated her, and then beat Nina Nunes. Guess what, Dustin? In another armbar. This is a girl who will tap you out. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. She will tap you out. She will find a way. And guess what? If she's not, she can stand her ground on her feet. She doesn't have the best striking, but she is good defensive striker, and great at feigning her takedowns and getting the fight to the ground whenever she wants. But she pulls Marina Rodriguez, who is on a bit of a streak herself, beating Amanda Ribas and Michelle Waterson, which is losing its weight. That victory is losing its weight as the months go by and as Waterson continues to fight and continues to lose. I don't want to say too much because I do know people who are personal friends of hers. She's a great person, but she has been struggling as of late, and that's just the truth that we can't dodge.
Fight? I could have sworn she lost. I thought I could have sworn she won it.
Did she? She might have won one. No, her last fight she lost, but she beat Angela Hill. Cool. Like she should be Angela Hill at this point in Angela Hill's career. But I got Mackenzie Dern winning this fight. I think she's going to tap out, even though, Rodriguez is on a tear of her own. I just think she's a better fighter. She's going to take this to the ground whenever she wants. She's going to tap her out. I'm going to say in the third round she gets an armbar victory.
I'm going to go with Mackenzie Dern. I've watched her plenty of times.
She's a beast, man.
there's a reason why she's on a hot streak, and I love saying it. When I say it, I love it. It's my favorite quote. There's a reason. There's a big reason. She's not a girl that you can mess with at any point. I mean, it's stand up, she's fine. Ground, she's fine. That's the most dangerous MMA fighters. If there's a point where you can't take advantage of them, they're the hardest to beat, and that just is what it is. And she's not sloppy. She's good. She has good technique. She has championship technique. I mean, you can see it. She's very tight. So, I mean, we'll see. But I'm definitely taking Dern. Dern's definitely the favorite here for me.
Yeah, and Mackenzie Dern definitely has the championship technique. The issue is, I'm looking at the rankings right now, is she would have to fight either Zhang if she wins the trilogy against Namajunas, or Namajunas, which is not an easy fight at all. But Mackenzie Dern is coming. Fuck coming. She's here. She's a problem. I think if she wins this fight against Mariana Rodriguez, she should be in line. This division, the women's strawweight division, is tough. You got Carla Esparza, who's on a tear of her own. You got the champion and Zhang Weili, who are gonna do a trilogy fight at some point. Then you got Joanna I can never pronounce her last name. You just got a lot of really good fighters in this division.
Is Claudia still at Straw? I'm not sure.
No. Claudia is not a Straw. Oh, no. Claudia Gadelha is a Straw. Sorry. She's the 8th ranked Straw fighter. Nina Nunes is 7th. Rodriguez is 6th. Dern is 4th. Is tied for 4th? That's got to be a mistake. She's 5th. But, I think Mackenzie Dern, after she wins this fight, absolutely gets a title shot. I think she's next in line. She's proved it. When you're on that heavy of a streak, just to let people know, when we say she is good, she's probably one of the best Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu artists in the entire UFC, not just women's, men and women. She's an absolute beast. She has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 victories. She has 7 victories by submission on her record. That is absolutely insane. For frame of reference, she has only fought 11 times, and 7 of them are submission victories. That means she is a top flight Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu artist. She is a beast, and she's going to be a problem. She wins this fight, I think, a 3rd round submission for sure. It's not going 5. So she's going to sleep. She's getting her arm broken. She's getting tapped out some way. All right, with that, it's time to say goodbye. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you for watching. Again, follow Fights Unwrapped. Subscribe. I didn't say this at the beginning, but please subscribe to Unwrapped Sports Network on YouTube. Please subscribe, please like, please follow, get the notifications, do whatever you got to do so that you can get the best fight content in the entire country, so you can get the best sports content in the entire country. Just a lot of really, really fun live streams that we do. So please subscribe to the Unwrapped Sports Network YouTube channel. With that, I will say happy fight week, everybody. Be safe out there. Have fun. Enjoy the fights. There are going to be some big bangers this weekend, so I can't wait for it. With that, we say goodbye, everybody.
Peace out.